So guys, what's going on? I don't know if you saw an interview with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia said that Manny Pacquiao fight's not happening is because of him. He's waiting on Manny Pacquiao. He's waiting on his decision, and he goes, if that fight doesn't happen, it's all on Manny. He goes, obviously we were happy with going through with the fight, but it was Manny Pacquiao and him that kind of stole the fight or whatever. I find his comments very strange, because from what I know, it was Ryan Garcia's camp that didn't want the fight. It was Ryan Garcia's management team that said they don't want to fight Manny because of the fact that he doesn't like that fight. Like Eddie Reynoso, his trainer, was saying we don't like that fight. Oscar De La Hoya said he doesn't like that fight. So I don't know what made Ryan Garcia say, well, it's Manny Pacquiao. To be honest, I don't know what happened with that situation. I don't know whether it was bull crap. I don't know what it was. I just sounded like a load of baloney to me, that situation with Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao. I never thought the fight was going to happen. I just thought it sounded too cartoony to me for that fight to happen. I always told you guys, I remember making videos on that I don't see that fight's going to happen. And I was right. I don't see that fight was going to happen. I just don't think it was ever going to happen. Ryan Garcia made it seem like that everything from his side was signed, and it was Manny Pacquiao. Did it even get to that stage where they were thinking about signing a contract and stuff? I don't know. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think Ryan Garcia and his team ever were going to take that fight against Manny. And if they were, it would have been the worst move. Did you hear Tim Bradley's interview with, I believe it was Fight Hype? Do you see what he said? And what he said, I thought was spot on. And I'm not a big fan of Timothy Bradley, by the way. I'm not a huge fan. But what he said about the Ryan Garcia Pacquiao situation was great. He said, how have you earned fighting a legend? How has Ryan Garcia earned to be in a position to be fighting Manny Pacquiao? He goes, you got to work at 135, keep building. You beat Luke Campbell, fight Nakatani, fight Linares, fight, these type of guys. How have you earned being in there with Manny Pacquiao? I don't get it. He basically said, yeah, you got a social media following. Yeah, we're in a pandemic right now. You got numbers. You're hitting your numbers. You got following, And then he said, if we went down to the local office and asked my clerk, who Ryan Garcia is, would they know who Ryan Garcia is? No. Would they know who Manny Pacquiao is? Yes. If you ask a 13-year-old girl who Ryan Garcia is, would they know him? Yes. Because those are the type of kids that are following him. The reason why these guys those guys that have a lot of big numbers on Instagram, I tell you why. Here's the thing. Let me go through social media. I know it's got nothing to do with boxing, right? On Instagram, right? Go on Instagram. Most of the fighters that have got huge numbers are the younger crowd, right? Like Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, guys like that. A lot of these guys have huge followings. Why? Because on Instagram, you've got young little kids on there. Majority of the people on Instagram, a huge amount of it is a lot of kids. See, Facebook and Twitter, they have a lot of mature audience, a more mature audience. When the guys that have huge followings on Twitter and Facebook, for me, that measures your stardom more, because a lot of the audience on those platforms are very mature, a lot older. The average age on those platforms are a lot higher. You see most older people probably not on Instagram. They are, don't get me wrong, they are. But they're probably more active on Facebook and Twitter. That's why when I always look at people's following, I always go on Twitter. And I always go, look on, most guys have less following on Twitter and Facebook, because generally it's a more mature crowd. Whereas on Instagram, it's a lot of kids. Lots of kids. And that's what I've noticed on social media. Instagram has a very younger audience, has a very immature, there's a lot more immature behavior on Instagram, or immature kids on there. compared to Facebook. Not to say there's young kids on Facebook and Twitter as well, but like I said, I feel like there's more of a mature background on those platforms than there are Instagram. I think Instagram has a lot more kids on there. And that's why you see guys like Ryan Garcia with such huge followings, whereas Ryan Garcia doesn't have anywhere near the kind of following on Twitter that he does on Instagram. Why? Because Twitter has a more mature following. Do you see where I'm coming from? Even on Facebook, he doesn't have that kind of following because, again, Facebook has a very mature following. They're more mature. Like for me, the average age on those are a lot higher than what it is on Instagram. See, a lot of Instagram users are young kids. The older generation, like my mum and dad, for example, they're on Facebook. They're not on Instagram. And I'm pretty sure a lot of your mum and dads might be the same. You know, a lot of the older generations doesn't use Instagram like that. They're on Facebook and Twitter because those are those social media platforms give you news, they give you updates and all of that. Whereas Instagram doesn't really, if we're honest. You know, it's pictures and videos, and you know, a lot of older people not interested in that kind of stuff. See, I'm on Instagram. I've got my personal account and I've got my boxing page as well. But like I said, I feel like from my experience of being on Instagram and being on there for a decade almost, I feel like the crowd's a lot younger. And that's why guys like Ryan Garcia, sorry to distract and go off topic and talk about social media, but yeah, basically what I'm trying to point out is Tim Bradley was spot on. That Ryan Garcia hasn't earned the right for me to be in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. You've never been a legitimate world champion. And I just don't understand why Manny would want to fight him. Yeah, I know people say money, but Manny could earn money with a lot of other people that probably deserve the fight more. That probably are more credible fighters or have been more credible fighters throughout their career. Fighting a kid, I don't know. I don't know how I view that. I don't know how I see it. It's just that I have so much respect for Manny Pacquiao. He's a legend, no doubt about it. He's an all-time great. But I just don't think a fight with Ryan Garcia for me makes any kind of sense. I think Ryan Garcia, I don't like that fight. If I'm honest, I just don't think I don't know how Ryan Garcia deserves that kind of magnitude of fight. I don't know, maybe you guys, how does he deserve that kind of fight? That level of fight, that high? Nah, man, he doesn't. I'm sorry. You know, Ryan Garcia fans might look to say I'm hating. I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth. He's not deserved or earned the right to be in there with someone like Manny. Manny's a legend, right? And for me, to get in the ring and have the opportunity to be in there, you have to have achieved great things yourself and beaten. Like Ryan Garcia has not even beaten one former world champion. He's never been a world champion, never beat a former world champion. I know people say beat Luke Campbell, but again, Luke Campbell was never a world champion. Luke Campbell's a guy that's never, for me, been a world champion. So it's Garcia. I don't know. I just don't think Pacquiao Garcia is a fight that should be happening. I think, and Tim Bradley also said if that fight happens, that Pacquiao will put Garcia to sleep. I think he would. I think he would put Garcia to sleep. Because Garcia, he showed a lot of flaws in that fight against Luke Campbell. And Luke Campbell's not Manny Pacquiao. He goes, if one of those left hands hit Ryan Garcia, it could be lights out. And I agree. So I don't think the Garcia-Pacquiao fight is a fight that really interests. You know, you're just ruining a kid. And that's what Bradley said. He said you're just ruining a kid unnecessarily. You're ruining his career. No point of ruining a guy's career that's still young and still got a long way to go. Never been a world champion. So you're just going to ruin his career, really. Ryan Garcia, good fighter, but he's got a long way to go, and he's still got a lot of developing to do. And to put him in there with like a legend like Pacquiao, I think you're just going to ruin his career. He's going to end up I think Pacquiao will walk over him and probably end up knocking him out. So for me, that's not a fight that really interests me, and a lot of people don't think. I don't think Ryan Garcia's earned the right to fight someone like Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao's too good, and I don't. You know, how, like Bradley said, how have you earned it? How have you earned being in the ring with someone like that? You know, there's many guys that over the years that I felt deserved to face Manny Pacquiao or be in the ring with him and didn't get a chance. Didn't get a chance. So, what must to say that Garcia, you know, Garcia's like, come on, man. Danny Garcia, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. You know, so many guys over the years have called Pacquiao, like, so many guys over the years have called Pacquiao out and not managed to get a fight with him. But yeah, Ryan Garcia's 135-pounder, never been a world champion. And let's not, Bradley was right that Manny Pacquiao was a world champion before he got put into recess. He was a world champion. So Ryan Garcia wouldn't just be fighting a normal welterweight. He's fighting a world champion, really. Yes, Manny Pacquiao got stripped, but he's really a world champion. So for me, it's a crazy fight. I think it's a fight that's a stupid fight, and a fight that Ryan Garcia would be in big trouble if he takes that fight. I just think you're derailing a young kid's career, putting him in a situation where he doesn't really need to be. Ryan Garcia is a big star anyway. He doesn't need Manny Pacquiao. Like Tim Bradley said, build your own legacy. Build your own legacy and try to become a Manny Pacquiao. And then he said, there'll never be another Manny Pacquiao. And I don't think he'll ever be able to become Manny Pacquiao because there's only one. You know, how many other guys do you know that's going to be able to jump up 8 weight classes? And he's spot on, Bradley. But at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are looking to jump the queue and jump the gun and get in the ring with a legend. But how have you earned it? Bradley's right, man. He's right. Just because you got great numbers and you know, people are following you, fair enough. That's great for you. That's great. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that you deserve to fight Manny Pacquiao. You know, I just think it would be terrible management if something like that was to happen, because for me that's a crazy move. You know, Garcia should look to build his own career. You know, forget Pacquiao. It's Pacquiao's a guy at 147. You're a guy at 135. It's 2 weight classes difference. Don't really like that fight. I don't think it's a fight that it should happen. Wouldn't shock me if it happens, but it shouldn't happen. Ryan Garcia should not be put in there or put in that kind of position with someone like Manny Pacquiao. I just think it's kind of a fight which ruins careers. That type of fight. Like Bradley said, a left hand for Manny Pacquiao could put the kid to sleep. And why, if you're Oscar De La Hoya or people managing him, want to put the kid in that kind of position? He's got a bright future ahead of him. If he's guided right, he could be a star. He could be a unified champion. He could be a 2-weight, 3-weight champion. You know, give the guy a chance. But what we saw in the last fight against Luke Campbell, right, we saw a lot of flaws there. If you go from that and to put him in there with Manny Pacquiao, and we're talking about no exhibition crap, but a proper fight, then it could be curtains for Ryan Garcia. And a loss at this stage in his career against an old Manny Pacquiao, how does that do Ryan Garcia any good if he gets put to sleep by Pacquiao? That's exactly what Bradley said. How does that do him any good? I don't see that doing. It's not like you're losing to a prime Pac where people say, "Wow, you lost to a killer." Pacquiao's still a killer, but losing to him at 40-something years of age isn't exactly a good look if you're trying to build a star, is it? So for me personally, no, I don't like the fight for Garcia. What do you guys think? Do you agree with Bradley? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next video. Peace.